Hi there and welcome to this tutorial. Today I'm going to talk about compression and teach you how to use it. First, let me show you what compression is doing and why you would want to use it. Let's look for a sound that starts loud and punchy and then slowly fades out. Let's try this one. Yes, this looks good. As you can see, this sound starts kind of loud and then it slowly fades out until we have almost no sound left. If we use compression on this hi-hat, we will first bring down the loudest part of the hi-hat, and then we will adjust the gain in the compressor to turn up the lowest part of the sound. Again. So I like to use compression to make my samples sound fuller and to be able to reduce the overall dBs while keeping the same perceived loudness on the audio. You can also use compression in the mastering process instead of using it on one channel, but in this tutorial I'm going to focus on one channel only. Let's get started. We will put this on track number 1 and we will load Fruity Limiter. Don't get fooled by the name. The limiter has a compression function and we will use the compression function to demonstrate how this is working. So let me explain the most important functions on this compressor. So we will be using the gain, the threshold and the ratio. So let's start with the threshold. The threshold tells us when the compressor should kick in and compress the sound. So if the threshold is higher than the volume of the sample, then there will be no compression and the sample will remain untouched. I can show you. So at this moment there was no compression at all. As you can see right here, the audio is not being compressed because the threshold is higher than the sound is. When we move down the threshold like this, then you will see that the threshold is lower than the audio, and when we adjust the ratio, we will see that the sound is being compressed. The ratio is actually telling us how much we will compress the sound. So the higher the ratio, the more the sound will be compressed. Let's test this. So as you can see now, we cut off the top of the sample of the audio file because the threshold is lower than the top of the file of the audio, and the ratio is pretty high. So this means that we will take off a lot of the sound. So I think you can hear the difference between the compressed sound and the non-compressed sound. So the compressed sound, the tail of the sound is much fuller. It sounds much louder and fuller than in the non-compressed sound, because we will bring down the loudest parts in the sound, and we will bring up the most quiet parts in the sound with the gain. We will bring everything up actually. So the dynamic range will drop when using compression because the loudest part of the audio will be less loud and the most quiet part of the audio will be much louder. Let's try this also with another sample. Let's try this one. Let's also put it on channel 1, where we have the compressor, and let's fill this one each 4 steps. This one we don't need. Let's try to hear the difference now without. Let's lower this a little bit. This is even better to hear what the compressor is actually doing. So here you can clearly notice the difference between the compressed file and non-compressed. I can try to show you this by maybe recording it with, let's see if we can get Edison up here. What am I doing? Okay, so I loaded in Edison, and I'm going to try to show you the difference between the non-compressed and the compressed WAV file. Let's play it and record it. Without compression. With compression. Stop recording. Let's look at the difference. Here you can clearly see the difference. Let's delete those. So this is the difference. So as you can see, we have the compressed waveform and the non-compressed waveform. So what we did is we took the top off of the waveform, and then we used the gain to compensate for taking off the top. And by using the gain, we brought everything up. So now the tail of the sound is much higher in volume than it was before, without changing the overall volume of the sound. So this is actually what compression is doing. I hope this made compression a bit easier to understand for you, and if you liked the video, don't forget to give me thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you next time. Bye bye.